So, when you talk about spiritual senses, we talk about today's, especially the topic is about listening. So, the spiritual sense of listening. So, everybody aware about the physical senses, right? So, we have physical senses, we have eyes to see, ears to hear, nose to smell. So, all of these are different senses. But if we all have those senses, we all have this, right? Some people have disabilities, like somebody can't see or somebody can't hear. Those are different. But in general, everybody has those sense organs. But say if two people are having the same capabilities, right? Their sense organs are working fine. So when they are looking, say they are looking at a particular scenery through their eyes, I'm looking and you're looking, it should create the same experience, right? Because we both are looking at the same thing. Say if we are both watching the same movie. Or if we are listening to somebody and we are listening to the same thing, like all of you are listening, thank you, then we should hear the same thing, correct? Ideally, if that's the logic, it should happen, but that's not happening, correct? We are looking the way, whatever we are seeing in our own way. Then when we are hearing in our own way. And similarly, all the things which we are experiencing, we have our own flavor in which we are experiencing it. So what does that really mean? That, yeah, there are physical senses, but there is something much more deeper than that, based on which everything is experienced differently by each individual. And if you understand that what is underlying, what is creating the different experience is more subtle senses. They are doing the same function. You're seeing, but seeing differently based on your past experiences, your value system, your conditioning, whatever is the mix-up, your unique mix-up. So similarly, you're looking, so you have your spiritual sense of looking, your spiritual sense or the subtle sense of listening, your subtle sense of experiencing, feeling, all of those. So if all of us are watching the same movie, we all could be at very different place, right? If it's a very melodramatic scene, one person could be completely into it, like they're shedding tears, right? They're with that. And then all the way from there to all the way on the other extreme, there would be somebody who would be laughing at that melodramatic scene. That's too, their experience is too emotional, what's the big deal about it, right? Similarly, we are looking at life, we are like, one person would be doing something and they would be like, yeah, this thing is cool. The other person would be like, why is he or she so over dramatic? Why is he or she so oversensitive, right? But that's a wrong question, which is saying, why are you so oversensitive? What you're feeling is what you're feeling. That's very real for that person. You cannot question somebody's feeling. That's what they're feeling. And especially with whatever is happening in the world right now, with the election and everything, people are feeling what they're feeling. And they're making choices based on what they're feeling. Facts are facts. And fiction is fiction. It doesn't really matter. So if you really explore why we are feeling the way we are feeling or experiencing the way we are experiencing, we need to understand what are the subtle sense organs which are really functioning underneath, based on which I am experiencing the life the way I am experiencing, and I'm creating my reality based on whatever I'm experiencing. Does it make sense? So say I have a body, right? This is a physical body. And I have a head, I have ears, I have eyes. These are all my physical organs. I do not really say eye body, eye ear, eye hair. I say my hair, my body, my eyes, which means all of these physical sense organs belong to something. Just like your car is parked outside, my car, right? You and car are not same things. But if you start thinking you are a car, then it's a difficult problem. Then somebody scratches your car, you feel like, it scratched me. So all of these things belong to you. All of these physical organs belong to you. But if you are not operating them from the place that they belong to me, then you are actually merging into these organs. And what I mean by this is, if you think you are an ear, then everything would be only one dimensional, which means everything would be heard, everything would be sound for you. Like if you give a hammer to somebody, then everything is a nail. Similarly, if you think you are just eyes, so everything is just one visual representation. You can't hear, you can't smell, you can't feel. So we become one dimensional. But as long as I know this is my body and the one to whom this body belongs is separate, because that's the consciousness which is saying this is my body, this is my ears, this is my eyes. So you are the one who's operating this physical body. Similarly, you have subtle sense organs. Just like you have ears, eyes and all that, you have subtle sense organs, which are your emotions, your mind, which creates thoughts, your own thoughts, your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, your energy. So these are your subtle organs. And in some way or other, their function is also the same: to hear, to see, to feel, and to express. So you use your mouth to express, but there is something which is inside which is allowing you to express through your mouth. So there are physical organs and there are subtle organs. Is it making sense? So it's not just very much physical, what you see is what you see kind of a thing. It's much more deeper. So you would have experienced that you are looking at certain thing and you look at it, then it creates experience, then you feel what it creates, then you can actually connect to a different story. Everybody's connecting to a different story. And then when you want to express, it's a different expression, whatever it triggers inside you. So what we want to really understand today is the art of listening in a true way. And to truly understand the art of listening, you really need to know, what should I listen to? If somebody is very emotional, right? Something they see, something happens, they become very emotional about it. Then they cannot think properly. They cannot process properly. Like they cannot say this is right, this is wrong, pros, cons and all that. They become very emotional. So they become very one-dimensional in that way. So everything what is running the show is their emotions. And when their emotions are running the show, then all their responses are preconceived responses. Means like whatever they have taken the choices before, they're going to by default go there and say, this is what it is. It's unconsciously there. So if you look at somebody who is from a different culture, different religion, and you have been conditioned to look at certain people with a certain cultural background, these kind of people are like this, and your experiences have been slightly like that, then as soon as you meet that person, you'll be like, hey, these kind of people are like this, and you start feeling the same way. So if you have been judgmental towards a particular religion, particular culture, and maybe you might not have a direct experience, but this is your conditioning. So when you look at them, you start reacting to them based on where you're coming from. So what we really want to understand is, how do I really use these faculties, means my subtle sense organs, not just physical sense organs, subtle sense organs, so that they work for me rather than I'm being worked by them. Make sense? So for that to happen, you really first need to understand these are my sense organs, the subtle sense organs. I have emotions, I have feelings, I have energy. Like I have different bodies. Just like I have a physical body, I have an emotional body, mental body, energetic body, all of them. And each one of them have a different agenda. Like my mind, what do I say? What does your mind needs? You need peace of mind, right? Everybody's looking for peace of mind. Your heart needs love, right? Energetically you need more vibrancy, more aliveness, right? So all of these are different needs of it. So if I do not know what do I really need at all of these different places, then I'm going to just go with whatever I have been told, whatever my default responses to all of these places are, all of these things are. So to understand that, hey, if I have to truly listen, I have to truly listen what's going on with these different parts of me, what's going on emotionally for me. And when I'm saying what's going on emotionally for me, there is a gap, which means I can observe my emotions, not being triggered by it and being run by my emotions. I can observe my thoughts. What are my thoughts saying? I can observe my energy. Where is my energy going? So all of these things are to really observe, means to really listen, tune into them and listen what's going on right now. And each movement, based on whatever is going on, your experience would continue to change. And if you're not able to observe what's going on every moment by moment, then what's going to happen is you're going to be in a space which is always reactive, always reactive, always reactive. And reaction is based on your past programming, past experiences, past value system, past conditioning. So if I say I am somebody from India, and when I look at people, say India was ruled by Britishers for a very long time. So whenever I looked at Britishers and I see similar kind of behavior, what was there, whatever been told to me in my history and all that, I would have the same kind of response for all the Britishers, you know. Hey, these people always do this, they always divide and rule, they're always doing blah blah blah. Even though I don't know that person, I'm overgeneralizing it. And the reason I overgeneralize is it makes it easy for me to continue my life. Because if I overgeneralize it, like these kind of people like this, I don't have to spend time, energy, whatever it is, box them and then treat them like that. Because by generalizing, I don't need to be present with every single individual. I can be who I am based on my past conditioning, and these set of people could be treated like this, these set of people could be treated like this, and this set of people could be treated like this, and these kind of situations could be treated like this. It's all past programming. So being present needs a lot of effort to start with. So when I'm connecting with you, I'm really present with you. And to present with you starts with present with myself first. To really know what's going on intellectually with me, emotionally with me, mentally with me, spiritually with me. All of these are different parts of me. And it's an effort. How easy or difficult is it for you to sit in meditation here? It's a question to you guys. Is it easy to sit in silence, or easy to sit and meditate?
Easier than it used to be.
Easier than it used to be. What about you? Easy, difficult? Okay.
Easy, yeah.
It's
Just
easy.
fine, just fine.
You're just fine.
It's hard for me.
It's hard for you.
Really hard for me.
Yeah. So see, we all are at different places. Somebody used to think initially when they started meditating, it's super difficult. Now it's becoming better. What has changed?
Having more information about it.
Have you ever lived with somebody who was very difficult to live with?
Yes.
Everybody is in consensus of that. So if you have lived with somebody who was very difficult to live with, remember the first day when you started interacting with them, or you started living with them or connecting with them, and see the same journey 2 years down the line, if you're able to make it 2 years down the line with them. Was it easy or difficult to live with them after 2 years? What was your experience? They were more tolerable?
More tolerable.
Yeah.
It didn't last that long.
So what has changed when we say, I can tolerate that person better? What has changed in that moment when you can tolerate somebody better?
We are changing.
Yeah, that's a good observation. What else?
We're learning to adapt.
You're learning to adapt. Yeah. So where is all these things happening? It's happening inside me, right? And there may be a chance the other person has changed, and they might not have changed. But now they do not bother you that much. The same behavior, same everything doesn't bother you anymore. Like it's like you live with somebody and you have this agreement that when the trash gets full, you have to throw it out. 1 week you do it, or 1 day you do it, or whatever it is. So for one person, when the trash reaches 75%, they start feeling uncomfortable that it needs to go out. For other person, it goes 110%. They feel, what's a big deal? it can stay for another day. It's the same trash. But two people have a different experience. But then over a period of time, you realize this person would go crazy if it hits 80%. So that's their limit. So what you do is over a period of time, you become tolerant to each other. And what tolerance really means, you are okay with the triggers. Whatever the situation is, whatever is triggering inside you, you have become more accustomed to your trigger, you are more tolerant to your triggers. And those people are pressing the button, but it's not bothering you that much. So with some people it's difficult. Some people definitely know how to press your buttons because they exactly know what your buttons are. Especially your parents, your siblings, your in-laws. There is a saying I was reading somewhere, they say, like, if you really think you're enlightened, please go and have a dinner or lunch with your in-laws during a festive season, If you really feel you're enlightened. So when we say tolerant, which means I have become more used to whatever the trigger and it's not bothering me that much. So similarly, when you're sitting and meditating, why I'm sharing this is when you're sitting and meditating, it's difficult for you to sit with your own self. That's what you're doing. It's uncomfortable for you to sit with all of you. Because when you're in real life, when you're working, when you're connecting with other people, you're out there. It's easy to distract yourself. All these sense organs are very good way to distract yourself, So yeah, you could be working and you're busy at work, and then you come back and you watch TV or you spend time on social media. They're all distracting you from being with you. But when you start sitting with your own self, it's very uncomfortable because you're not used to doing that. All this stuff which you have accumulated throughout the day, it starts coming up. Things which you have forgotten, they would start coming up. And there is a noise which is happening inside. And you don't want to hear that noise. It's uncomfortable. So if it's so difficult, and I'm not saying everybody's like that, I'm just using it as an example. Everybody has a different level. So if it's so difficult for you to sit with yourself, how can you expect somebody else to sit with you? But our expectation is whether I sit with me or not, but other people should give me their 100% attention, should give their 100% time, should be absolutely tolerant to all my stuff. How realistic is this expectation? When two people get married, they come into a relationship, they connect at a place and they say like, and in a typical proposal, they're like, hey, if you are in my life would be happy thereafter, or I won't be happy without you. So first of all, they 100% do not know what makes them happy, because they hit and miss, right? If they exactly knew what makes them happy, then all the choices which they are making would be exactly correct choices. Everything should bring happiness and joy. So sometimes in my own choices, sometimes happy, sometimes not. So I don't 100% know myself what gives me happiness, what doesn't give me happiness. Then I come into a relationship with somebody else and expect that person to understand exactly what makes me happy and do exactly all the things which would make me happy. And other person is coming with the same expectation. Now sometimes they would do something which would make you happy, and sometimes they would do things which would not make you happy. So there is a hit and miss going on all the time. And over a period of time, you get accustomed to each other with the hit and misses, and you become tolerant to each other now. If there are more misses, then it's not a smooth ride. If there are more hits, means like they match your vibration, then it's great. So it's a lot of hard work. And the question is, how do you reduce this hard work? Before even you get into relationship with, and I'm just using a partnership example, but in any relationship, you really need to know where that person is. And you need to set a good expectation where you are and what you really want. And the skill which is really required to do that is, you should be able to hear your own self. What is it that you really need? And what you really need is not necessarily what has been told that's what you need. So what is told to us, that what is it that we need in the world? What are the things which we are told that this is what we need? Like, can you give some examples?
Or just the things that we've been told we need.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, we all need love.
We need love.
We need a job, right? We need a relationship.
Material things.
We need X amount of money. We need
Make children.
Children.
you need to have children, get married, especially if you're coming from a place like India where I come from. It becomes very difficult that you can be single by after a certain age, and people will not ask something is okay with you or not if you're not getting married. Then after you get married, they would not be okay if you do not have kids by a certain time period. They would say something is okay with you or not. Then your first kid, then they would wait for the next one. If next is not happening, people get very, interested what's going on. Then you have second kid, then they stop asking you what's going on because they know my situation is like them. He's in the same boat as me. So that's where the questioning ends. So this is a script which is given to us. Get a degree, get a job, get a corner office, get the girl, get the guy, get the car, get the house, and you hit your midlife. Then you do it all over again.
Heart attack.
Huh?
Get the heart attack.
Yeah, by midlife, then you realize this script, something is wrong because it's not giving me happiness as it's supposed to give me, right?
Vivek, do you know if this thing rotates?
Yes, it does.
Is it okay if we put it on that?
Yep,
Versus directly
absolutely.
at it?
Yeah.
Do you know which one it is? Is it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So this is the script which was given to us, and this script is a story which was given to us, and we heard somebody else's story and completely believed in it without experimenting with it, because everybody else around us was doing. Our parents told us, please do this because I want to see you happy. When they're saying I want to see you happy, is basically they want to see you safe, and they want them to feel safe. That's what is being translated internally. So when you're operating from a place that I need safety first all the time, then it's a very primitive kind of a mindset. Where was the safety originally coming from? When we were living in the caves, safety was the number one thing. We do not have the same kind of fear, same kind of thing where somebody's targeting us, like there are wild animals, somebody's going to come and eat us. But they've been translated into a different way that there are different fears, Somebody is basically will not be there to provide us emotional support. Somebody would not be there to give us the support, whatever we need, or we would be rejected. So all of those are still the same fears. So what we are being told is this story, and we have heard this story. And by hearing this story, what we have done is, by hearing this story and believing in this story, what has been compromised is our own hearing ability, our own listening ability, the voice which was coming from inside. As a kid, when you're growing up, you all have dreams, right? And not everybody's dream was to be engineer, doctor, or MBA or whatever it is. Everybody, what do you want to become? I want to become a police inspector. What do you want to become? I want to become a soldier. What do you want to become? I want to be a painter. If you read, I was reading a book, I forget the name of it. When you're till second or third standard, out of 100 students, 80% people want to be artists. When you reach to fourth standard, that number reduces.
What do you mean third standard?
Like third grade, basically.
Oh, third grade.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
In India, we call it third standard.
Oh.
So third grade, everybody wants to be 80% people, 85% want to be artists. Then as you go grade further, by 7th, 8th grade, only 5-10% people want to be an artist or be in that space, music and all that. Everybody has bought into the story by that. So what you have done is basically you have heard somebody else from outside and you have turned down the volume of the voice which was coming from inside. Which means it's not easy to do that because you're living with that voice. So what happens is you have to put a lot of extra pressure to push down whatever is coming from inside, that voice which is coming from inside, which is supposed to give you joy. Because if you follow that, that's joy for you. And sometimes our own people put us down, the people we trust. I want to become president. And we'll say, okay, you want to become president? They make fun of you, and then you kind of like, something is wrong in my desire to become president. So they basically fine tune you to make you safe, because being president is too much of hard work and they don't trust you. So I suppress my inner voice, and when I suppress my inner voice, I need a lot more energy because it needs to be suppressed. So if I have 100%, 100 units of energy, and I'm suppressing my own voice, and I'm spending 70%, 70 units of energy to suppress my own voice, then only 30%, 30 units of energy is left with me to go for my own goals and my own happiness, even to follow the story which has been given to me by outside. So I would feel more tired, more fatigued, because first of all, I'm following somebody else's story, and then I do not have a lot of energy to do it because I'm using a lot of my energy to suppress my own deeper joy. So what you have done is you have actually shut down your own ability to listen to your own self. This is your deep inner voice which is guiding you, which is telling you. And no matter, you get confused as you grow up, because your mind is telling you the story, you should do this, you should do that, because that's what everybody does. That's the script of safety or happiness, whatever it is. And then there is inner voice which keeps on coming once in a while. This is not okay. This is not where you should be. So then you get confused. Should I listen to my heart? Should I listen to my mind or my head? And as long as there is a conflict going on, you would never be in a place of joy and happiness. Because another definition of peace is what? Where there is no conflict. If in a place there is no conflict, it's naturally happy, naturally joyful, naturally peaceful. So I come into a place of conflict all the time. So when it comes to choosing a partner, should I go for this? Should I not go for this? Should I go on this date? Or should I choose this career? All of this is very confusing. And you meet few other friends, you want to take their advice, they're in the same boat, except for somebody who has really made an effort to get out of that zone of safety, break that story, break that script, and decided that I'm truly going to listen to my heart and follow my heart and do what truly gives me joy. And everybody looks at that person like, look at that guy. What do you say?
Dreaming.
He's crazy. And if you really see lot of people who have actually gone to be where they want to be, what have they done? They've broken the mold. If you read everybody's story, like whether it's Steve Jobs or Amazon's CEO Jeff Bezos was working in a company, and he decided that one day I'm going to start a website which would be the biggest library in the world. And he went to his manager and he said, "This is what I'm going to quit my job next month. That's what I'm going to do." His manager said, "Okay, let's talk about it later." And then he took him for a walk to make him understand, this is very crazy idea. You should not do this. What do you think? You're going to create the biggest library in the world? And he says, like, I really truly respect whatever your idea is, but it's not the right thing. It's crazy. But he didn't listen. And he followed his heart. And he is where he is. It's the biggest library ever. Library of everything now. But if he would have followed his crazy, you won't have that here. And there's so many people, and everybody was being labeled the same thing. You're crazy, you're this, you're that. Why you have to go through all this pain? Why don't you just do the regular thing? But somewhere their voice inside was very strong, and their ability to listen to that voice was equally strong. They were not shutting it down. So when we sit in meditation, first of all, we have to deal with all that we have shut down, the pressure of that, and then all the other stories which we have bought into. And we are not just bought into those stories, we are living those stories. So the separation between me and my story is not there. It's become one. So as soon as I sit in meditation, a thought comes, I just get taken on the ride by that thought. I cannot observe that thought. Or if the emotion comes, I cannot differentiate or create a gap between me and my emotion, and I've been taken over by that emotion. Yeah. And all of these things over a period of time, if they have not been taken care of properly, will not allow me to sit with myself and experience my own self. And the thing is, until unless you spend enough time to really understand what's going on with you, how would you really know who you are, right? And what you really want. And if you don't know who you are, what you want, how can you express it to other people? This is who you are, and this is what you really want. And then if you cannot do that, how can you expect somebody to meet your expectation? So if you cannot do all of these things, how could you enjoy a healthy relationship, both with yourself and with other people? And then what's going to happen? It's almost like you enter a dark room and keep on hitting different things, left, right, center. And every experience adds more to your fear, because you're not getting the result you want, and you say, okay, let me be more safe, and you keep on following the same script because you do not have enough power, enough strength to go and experiment. So what we do here is, when we come here, is we actually sit, we create that patience within ourselves to really sit with my own self, to really listen to what's going on with me. And when I'm listening, there is hearing and there is listening. When you're hearing part of the story. When you're truly listening, you're listening without being judgmental, without being triggered by your own story. Like all of you are listening right now, you're all relating to it, but still from your own experience. Some of you might be saying, oh, I heard about this particular phrase somewhere before. So your mind jumps there. Or next time, this is what I'm going to tell myself. In true listening, you're actually very present, and you're completely listening what's going on without judging, without beating yourself up for your past experiences, past choices, all that. So if you're sitting in meditation and you're getting more stressed out, you're not doing it right. So come to first place where you can relax further, like, hey, if this emotion comes, you watch it without judging it, without beating yourself up for whatever the choices you have made, and let it go. This thought comes, you just let it go, just observe. But that observation doesn't become a strength immediately, because we do not have that ability to create a buffer between who I am and what I am feeling and whatever I am thinking. And if to make your life easier, I give you a golden rule. Everything what you are thinking and everything what you are feeling is not true most of the time. As a feeling as an emotion, it's very real, you're feeling anger. But the reason you're feeling anger is not always true. So even though it's very real, it's not true or accurate in the way you are interpreting it. So give yourself benefit of doubt. Do not believe every single thing what you're thinking, and do not believe every single thing what you're feeling in that way. Yeah, understand it, like I'm feeling angry. Just stay with your anger. Do not start blaming somebody else for your anger. And that's the first victory, because that would start creating a gap between you and what you're feeling and what you're thinking. And then you can watch as it comes and as it goes. Because what's happening is, say a thought comes. A thought is energy purely, basically. That's what it is. But thought is using your own energy. So how many of you have taken the meditation course here? Anybody? So all of you have not taken the course, right? So if you take the course, what you would understand is, like, basically you are energy. Who you are energy, you are a soul. So energy or soul is the powerhouse, it's the source from which everything is emerging. If that energy goes away, then there would be no emotions, there would be no thoughts, because the source has gone away. So what's happening is, when your mind is going crazy, your mind is actually using the energy of your own soul, and then taking you for the ride. And when you become an observer, what you do is you detach yourself from your own mind. Means like you start observing. So now as you observe, you have pulled the plug from your own mind. So your mind cannot use your own energy to take you for a ride. So what would happen? It would jump a little bit, and because it doesn't have energy, you're just watching, it drops. It would not have energy. Similarly, all the emotion, if you start watching it, it drops. Because you have taken away, you have unplugged that source. It's basically working against you in a lot of times. But that comes with a practice. Because if you're not observing, what is by default happening is, you're already absorbed into that experience. So either you're observing or you're absorbed. So check every moment, am I absorbed in this experience, in this thought, or am I observing? And most of the thing which is coming and going in your head and your emotion is not true. It's all based on the past story, what you have told, the things which you have kind of believed in so deeply. So if you feel uncomfortable around anything, the first question you have to ask is, what is it that I'm feeling uncomfortable about? And maybe your answer would be, this thing should be like this and he or she is not doing it like this. And then the next question is, why do you think it should be like this, not other way? It would be coming from your own experience. It would be coming from your own past conditioning. So start questioning everything which you believe. Just like you question everybody else is like, why do you think this is right? Whether you speak out loud, but in your mind, why does he think he is like this? Or why does he think we should do it like this? Turn that question around and ask yourself, why should I think I should be like this? Because once you start questioning, you start creating an inquiry. And in this inquiry, you start creating a buffer. Because you're not being run by the energy of your own belief systems, your own conditioning. Because if you're running your own, on the energy of your own belief system and conditioning, then you are actually living somebody else's life. It's not your true experience. It means like you haven't experimented and experienced it directly. You have picked up somebody else's experience, somebody else this thing, and this is what it is. And all the religions which you follow, they have given, the person whoever started the religion has given his direct experience. This is what you should do, you should love your neighbor, this is what you should do, all of those things. But that was his or her direct experience. And they created a book out of it and then gave you a book, hey, follow this. So without really you directly experiencing all those things which have been said in that book, you start believing it. And what you do is, the story stays here, but you cannot feel. Right? You're doing everything, you're going to the church, you're going to the temple, but all that knowledge is not working for you. It's just in the head. The reason it's not working for you, you haven't made it your own through your own experimentation. Is it making sense?
Looks like we are here to experience the experience.
Hmm?
We are here to experience the experience.
You are here to experience your true experience, your own experience, your own version of the world. Even though everybody would say it's my own version of the world, but it's a bought version of the world. Which means somebody has told you the story. That you have to buy these things to be happy all the time. That's what all advertisement is about. You're not good enough, buy this, do this, XYZ, and then you would be happy. And then you say, like everybody says, oh, that's really good. Everybody goes to the same store, buys the same kind of a fashion, gets the same haircut, comes out, and everybody looks the same, even though everybody wants to be different. Right? Why? Because everybody wants to be liked, everybody wants to be accepted. Because the very deep fear is, I should not be rejected. And because you do not want to be rejected, you don't want to be left alone, it's a very primitive mindset. It's better to shut down your own voice, live somebody else's story, and feel safe. So either you could be safe in life, or you could be joyful. They don't go together at the same time. Pick up the mindset of somebody who is always looking for safety first. He would be always defensive. His walls would be always up. All his weapons should be ready, right? So it's like there is so much of anxiety which is running all the time. I should be accepted by my parents, my colleagues, my kids, whatever it is. And somebody who's joyful is, there's no guards. You're free. You can even fly. So could be only one thing. And if you want to take the journey from being safe to spiritual or joyful, is to start listening what's going on with you. And what we would do is I would take you step by step in exercise to really see what's going on in different parts of you. And as you go through different parts of you, you see what's going on, look at it, see the story around it, what your mind is telling, because whatever is going on, your mind would have a story of its own. Look at it, like when you look at somebody, your mind will start, look at him, the way he's wearing, the way he looks, which place is. It has opened a file without even asking the name of that person. You have defined his or her whole story. And sometimes after being in relationship with that person, you realize your version was so wrong, right? And most of the time your versions are wrong. It's not 100% accurate. Once in a while you hit exactly right. And then your mind has to be quietened down. So all of these things which needs to be experienced directly, what is sitting in between is your mind. Between your mind, between your emotions and your old blocked energy is all the drama which is running. The more somebody is into drama, the more they are caught up into emotions and all that, the more they want to create drama. So if you see most of the series on TV these days, there are a lot more series than 5 years back, right? And each one is more dramatic than the previous one. What does it really mean? Then the same drama which was being watched 5 years back is not igniting the same emotions and same feeling. You have to turn on the volume. More pain, more violence, more attachment. So if you really see, if you take out the pain, the suffering, the attachment, the violence and judgment from a series, it would be very boring, right? That's what being thrown at us, and we chew it up. And I'm not saying everybody's doing it, but if you're doing it, the more you are taking it, the more you believe in it, that drama. And the more you believe in it, that's what you're going to create. That's going to be part of your reality. Whether you choose consciously or not, unconsciously you're choosing it. And most of your life, wherever you are right now at this point of time, is all some result of your conscious and unconscious choices. And do you know how many conscious choices we make and how many unconscious choices we make every day? You know the percentage, the breakup? Any idea? 97% of our choices are unconscious. Only 3% of our choices are conscious. Yeah, you can open up your cupboard in the morning and say, what color dress should I wear? That you might consider it a conscious choice, but sometimes that is also unconscious. Maybe this, if I wear this color or that color, that's how I would be accepted. So to get out of all of this drama is to step back and truly listen what's going on, what is creating triggers. Like right now, a lot of people are in a place of a lot of overwhelm. It's like every day there is a new news coming. There is a new fear which is being triggered. And I'm not saying whatever is happening is right or wrong. It is whatever is happening, and some of that is unjustified also. But what you're feeling is not you're feeling it first time. The fear, the sense of loss, the pain, this is not the first time you're ever feeling this. You've always felt it in the past in your life. The sense of loss, the fear of losing something, perceived loss or actual loss, and losing what you have. So it is already there. The events which are happening are the triggers which are reigniting that experience, because you haven't dealt with past fears. The longer you sit with those fears and you haven't dealt with it, then what is going to happen is, if you are a person who wants to grow in your life, the life would bring people who would push you to see deeply what is sitting there which needs to be healed. And if you do not listen, then the triggers become stronger and stronger, which means the pain would become stronger and stronger to deal with it, so that it can bring it to the surface so you can deal with it, so that you cannot be numb. So when you become tolerant to something, what you become tolerant to is, you become tolerant to all the triggers, all whatever somebody is saying or pressing your buttons, you become tolerant to the triggers, so that you can become comfortable here. So these triggers don't matter. So if you are a person who wants to grow in life, the life would turn on the heat, turn on the volume of all of these buttons, so that you can feel it, so you can deal with it. But we do not have the tools how to deal with it. It's very uncomfortable. All these emotions, all these thoughts, all these stories, all this my own joy which I've suppressed, that I create another situation which can numb down all of these things so that I do not feel this discomfort. And when you come and sit in meditation, you are going to feel peaceful also, but all of these things are going to come out because now you're sitting with yourself. And when you're sitting with yourself, make better use of your time. Make better use of your time, so go and truly see what's going on. Truly listen what's going on. So when you listen, there is this emotion of rejection coming, right? It is very uncomfortable to feel that somebody would reject me. But part of the deal is you have also rejected yourself. That's why somebody would reject you in certain ways, which means what I mean by here is you have rejected is you haven't heard your own voice, which means you haven't heard what was your heart telling you when you were growing up. And then what happens is, because you have created that energy, you attract that energy. The law of attraction is you attract what you are feeling, not what you are thinking always. If you are feeling sad, you are attracting more situations which are sad. If you are feeling joyful, you are attracting more people, more situations which are joyful. So that's not naturally happening as a match. So when you actually start sitting and listening to it, that, oh, I have this fear of rejection. So what is underlying this fear of rejection? What happens if you would be rejected? What's going to happen if you would be rejected?
Basically insecurity.
Get hurt.
Hmm?
You feel hurt.
Hurt is, so if you get rejected, you feel hurt. That is the experience of this. But what is the fear around rejection that is making you feel hurt?
Then you'll be alone.
That you'll be alone. Okay, so everybody agrees to this? If I would be rejected, I would be alone. Now, the next question is, alone means what to you?
Not with someone else.
And what does that mean?
That you're by yourself.
Okay, and by yourself means?
That you're alone.
No chaos.
See the circle? Okay, let's stop there. What does being alone means to you? Or being rejected means to you?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Rejected, I'm like, the way I'm thinking right now, like you were saying, how we see things differently, is that if I have a proposal, a business proposal, and I want to open up and tell you, and I'm afraid that you're going to say no. That's what I'm thinking about, rejecting. Not necessarily somebody's going to reject me, but although I'm proposing something, but I have that fear, and I do truly have that. Oh, I wonder if they're going to.
Which means if somebody rejects your proposal, what's your name?
Patty.
Patty. So if somebody rejects Patty's proposal, who is Patty then? What happens to Patty?
I feel bad.
You feel bad about what?
Even though it's not personal, but they just rejected me.
Means you are not good enough. That's why they rejected your proposal. Something is missing in you, right? Anything else? What does rejection means to you?
Me, I'm sorry, but I have a different experience at this time of my life.
Yeah.
I'm alone and I'm happy. I really worked for this. I
Yeah.
interviewed everybody alone like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I wanted to know how people survive to be alone, the widows, the
Mhm.
ones who are single, and I admire them, and I pray to God that I would be like them, single and happy. And right now I'm right there.
Yeah. So
It's an achievement,
yeah.
and I don't want to be with anybody.
Yeah.
Right
Great.
now, my confidence.
Anybody else? What does rejection means to you?
Rejection means a lot of things. You can be rejected.
But I'm just asking your personal. What is your personal rejection means to you?
Rejection can be like, as she said, or like anything that you offer and then you were rejected. It can be a thing. It can be an occasion that you were rejected. It can be.
Mm. So if you really
feel
see,
like you're not enough.
You are. Sorry. See, go ahead.
You know,
Yeah.
like you're not enough. Like you're not gonna have somebody there for you when you need them.
yeah,
That you're gonna have to do it all by yourself,
Yeah.
and feels desperate, feels
yeah. So the thing is,
scary.
these are all the fears, and in some ways they are real, and in some ways they are imaginary also. So most of the stress which we create because of the fears is 95% of those fears never come true. And the rest 5% when it comes true, it's not as bad as I thought it was. So you're creating it already in your mind all the time, which means that's why I said, like, do not take every single thought so seriously, all the emotions so seriously. And everybody has a slightly different experience of what rejection means to you. Similarly, everybody has a different experience of what love means to you. But if I say I love you and you say I love you, or you say I love you or I care for you, what we are saying is slightly different than everybody else. But I haven't sat down and listened to myself, what does love really means to you? And since I haven't done it, I haven't expressed it, communicated to somebody else. And that other person understands love slightly different depending on where they are coming from. And they also expect you to understand what does love means to you. So we are running into assumed agreements. That is love means love. So no wonder
They should ask that question on dating sites. They should say, what does love mean to you? And then you can see if they think of the same.
Yeah,
that
so
it's the same thing.
people can still write it, but to really feel and then express it is not so easy, because language is the last and the most, I should say, weak way of communicating what you're feeling. Like, I can say one word and it actually you really feel deeply, and then it completely makes sense. Like, your feeling comes to a place of received, you feel, wow, he gets me. Just one word, it may be a very simple word, because ultimately all the answers are in feelings, in depth. Language is just a way of communicating it, translating it. But if I am in a place where I can truly listen to myself, my ability, this subtle ability of listening, would become so strong. I could be in front of somebody and I can listen to them where they are, what they're feeling, what they're emotionally doing. So when we are in a place, like when I do coaching, we do retreats, we create a space where people can feel each other, no matter how shut down they have been over a period of time, because that field creates that amplification so we can feel each other. So if you're meditating and if you're being very true to yourself, this ability would become very strong, listening. I can truly listen when they say I love you, or I accept you, or I don't like this, where they are. Because if I can understand where the other person is, I can be there for them in the same way, and which would actually match them wherever they are. So, but that's why in all the cultures, all the religions, we go to God, because we feel that God would actually truly understand where we are, and he or she would actually completely accept and understand and love us for who we are. Because God doesn't have any of those drama running with emotions and this and that. So first of all, when you come to meditate, you create that connection with yourself, and then you go up and connect with the divine. And once you are able to do that, you are able to actually connect with everybody else. So listening is not just this. Listening is truly listening to get who I am. And then when you can do that, then you can get where you are, where that other person is in relationship with me. So it's a mutual effort. That's why once you get into marriage, it's not that, oh, now we have a good understanding, we should get married. It is a journey which is started there to get more deeper into understanding. Because if you truly love each other, and I'm just using an example of partnership, if you truly love each other, you don't have to say I love you 10,000 times in a day. You look at each other and everybody gets it. The other person gets it. That's what it means. It's a feeling. And it's get translated in that way. And all the things which we are communicating is a three-way journey. So I don't want to go too much into detail, but maybe when we are doing workshop, like we are doing a workshop, I think it's next Saturday, on how to create true love in real life. So maybe if you want to attend, we could probably go deeper in it. But it's a three-way communication. So when I say for example, I say I love you. So if I really say that, the way it would create joy in me and you is this way, that I feel you feeling me. I feel you feeling me. So when I say I love you, you receive it, and then you say, okay, I get it, and I love you. So it's not just a one way. I say I love you and then it's gone. It's gone in some open dark space. But when I feel that you have received it, and you're communicating it back what you have received, then that feedback feels, oh, that I am received, I'm accepted. Otherwise you can keep on saying and it's never matched, it's never communicated back. You feel like even though that person is saying I love you, but he's not actually seeing me or understanding me where I am. It's being missed. So it's a very present moment communication which is happening at much more deeper level. And you exactly know when somebody receives you and communicates back to you that they truly understand you, because it's happening much more at an energetic level. And if somebody just says, okay, yeah, I love you too, and you know they haven't received you, you have not been met. And because it's very energetic system, you exactly know what it feels to be received and what it feels to receive somebody else. So when you do not have that ability, you cannot create a healthy relationship in life. It would be always hit and miss, it will always be hit and miss. That's why people sometimes just go to God, because they feel that God is actually the true one who is going to feel us, receive us, give us that feedback. And that's true. But do I have the ability to receive God's love? I need to create something to receive. Like in this environment right now, you have all the channels like ABC, CNN, this, that, whatever it is. We cannot watch it right now, right? Because we are not tuned into that channel. Neither we have the right instrument, which is the TV. But if I'm tuned into the right channel, I'm connected, I would see and watch and listen every channel. So similarly, God's love and that grace is present right now. But just, it's not that I'm not tuned into that. So first of all, I have to become the right instrument to receive it, to listen to my own self. So this series, what we are doing is, the first one is to listen, spiritual listening. The next one would be spiritual speaking, right? How do you speak in a spiritual way? Because these are all subtle qualities in that way. And if you do not master it, you would never feel fulfilled in your life in a way. Because you never know who you are, you can never communicate. Because you cannot communicate, other people are not going to receive you. Because everybody is going to come and see you physically for who you are. Oh, you look good, you wear the right clothes, you use the right words, but you don't feel right. And I don't feel right with you. Because how long you can live with or stay with somebody who's just like at a superficial level? They look great, they fit in whatever is the safety thing. Because what you really truly want to experience in a relationship is a joy. But the joy starts with you. Somebody's not going to create it for you. So relationships are, I'm happy, you're happy, and we share this happiness. Not that I'm unhappy and you make me happy, and you're unhappy and I'm going to get, come on, like, it's not half plus half becomes one. In relationship, half into half becomes 1/4. It becomes a quarter. And if you have to be really full in that way. So what we do is we will take you step by step to listening. And this is the exercise called tracking. Tracking simply means you're tracking what's going on at different places so you can truly listen and go with it. Disclaimer, it's not a judgmental exercise. Do not judge what's coming up. It's purely what's there in this moment, just be aware of it. And if there is nothing, there is nothing. Everything is good. Good. Any questions before we go? Is it clear? Or anything which doesn't make sense? It should be clear, right? It should be simple also. All it needs is presence. So can you play some light music, and then I can, it would take probably 5 minutes.
The workshop is Saturday?
Yeah, the workshop is Saturday.
This Saturday?
Do you know when is the workshop? It's on 18th, right? Yeah, not this Saturday, the following Saturday.
Oh, okay.
After Valentine's Day.
Okay.
After you have celebrated Valentine's Day.
Alright.
This Saturday is the program, which is Shivratri, which is in India, it's called God's birthday. So all of these are different relationships which you can create with divine. And we would go on deeper into that. So just sit relaxed wherever you are. Ideally, you can close your eyes. And what we are going to do is we are going to go through different parts of us. We are going to physical body, emotional body, mental body. Each one has a different need. There's different stuff going on. We have to just listen and share with that what's going on. So what I'm going to ask you is to basically go through each part of it when I'm taking you. So check what's going on without judgment, based on what's going on. What is it? What is the story which your mind is telling around it? Because mind would always have a story. So accept and let that story go. And then based on what's going on, what's moving for you, what is it that you truly want in this moment? The keyword would be in this moment, because your mind would jump in and say, oh, I want everything perfect, this. But tune in on what you want in this moment. So just sit relaxed, allow yourself to sit relaxed and give yourself permission internally on experiencing what life has to bring in this moment. So now just take a deep breath in and let it go. And as you let it go, just let go of anything which is heavy, which is stuck, which is not allowing you to be you in this moment. And if your mind goes somewhere, just bring your attention back on your breath. So scan your body all the way from the top of your head to your feet and see what is going on physically for you. Do you feel absolutely connected to your physical body? Or you feel connected to part of your body and not to other part? And either way, it is okay. One is not better than other. It is what it is right now. And is there a part of your physical body which is calling for special attention? So just go there, take your awareness, your attention to that part. So tune into that part, just listen what exactly it's saying. And if your mind comes up and tells you a story, you're feeling this way physically because of this or that, and maybe that story is absolutely accurate, just accept it, but do not get caught up into it. Just let it go. So tune into that part and ask, what is it that you truly want in this moment? And just listen what it has to say. And then you can respond back by saying, take whatever you want in this moment. And just allow it to receive, because your body is an intelligent system. It would take whatever it wants in this moment. And your mind might jump in, but just allow it to let it go. Stay back. And as you allow it to receive whatever it needs to receive in this moment, it becomes a little more relaxed, a little more, slightly more joyful or happy, even if it's 1%, 2%. And stay light with it. If you're pushing too hard, that's not the right way to do it. Now let's go and check what's going on energetically for us, like our energy body. So check all the way from the top of your head to your feet energetically, this energy, chi, prana, life force which is inside you, but also in the space around you, just like around your physical body. What's going on energetically? Do you feel absolutely alive, like every single cell of your body is alive? Or part of you is alive and part of you is not? And either way, it is okay. And maybe you feel absolutely flat, there is no energy, and that's also okay. So check if there is a part of your energetic body which is calling for special attention. Just take your awareness there. In other words, what is going on energetically for you? Just tune into that. You're feeling open, alive, or stuck, or closed, whatever it is. And given whatever is going on, ask yourself, What is it that you want energetically in this moment? In this moment. Maybe it's more openness, more flow, more lightness, whatever it is. And just give yourself permission to receive it. And trust it would come in its own way. Now let's go and check what's going on emotionally for you. Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Do you feel excited? Do you feel peaceful? You could have more than one emotion at the same time. You could be happy and sad at the same time. You could be excited and relaxed at the same time. But do not get caught into it. Just watch what's going on emotionally. Your mind would come and tell you a story that you are feeling emotionally, whatever you're feeling, there is a story. And it might be true. Just receive that story, accept that story, and let that story go. And just bring your attention back to your emotion, just watch it. And see if you get pulled into it, step back and just watch. A easy way to step back is just breathe into that part. Like wherever you feel this emotion, if you feel it in your chest, in your belly, wherever it is, just breathe deeply into that part. And it would allow you to relax more. And given whatever is going on emotionally for you in this moment, stay present with your emotion. Do not get caught up into that emotion. So continue breathing deeply. Given whatever is going on emotionally, what is it that it truly wants to listen to that? What is it trying to communicate? What it wants? Maybe it wants a flow. Maybe it wants more openness. Maybe it just wants more stability. And whatever is there, just consciously tell that take whatever you want emotionally for yourself right now. Tell your emotions whatever they want. Without any conditions, without any judgments. Like, do not tell if this happens then only I would feel this happened that. No, those are not the correct, best stories. Just give it permission to take whatever it wants to take. And now check what's going on mentally for you. What kind of thoughts which are coming? Is your mind peaceful, restful? It's crazy, it's overwhelmed, it's creating a lot of thoughts. It's all okay, whatever is there is there. Just accept wherever it is. And just watch what's coming and what's going. You can watch everything from a distance, you can listen everything from a distance. And now come into that place which is you, the being to whom all of these things belong. This body, these sense organs, these emotions, these thoughts, these all belong to you, but you are not that. So come to that place which is also your inherent goodness, which have all the qualities, all the virtues of you, this part which we call the soul. And from this space connect to the divine or the universe or to God and see what is the message for you in this moment. The message could be a sentence or a phrase or a vibration or a feeling, or there could be nothing, and that's also all right. So just tune in and listen what's there for you spiritually in this moment. And whatever is the message, just simply receive it, accept it. If there is nothing, then that's also okay. Just be okay with that. And now, just step back and observe, just bring into your awareness who was watching all these different parts of me, who was watching the physical part, the emotional part, the energetic part, the spiritual part, who was watching all of these different parts of me. And step back and watch all of these different parts as if you're seeing all of these different parts of you from a distance. And how do you feel being in this space, witnessing everything, observing everything, being aware of everything, but not really being caught up into any of those things? You are not any of these parts. These parts belong to you. And from this space you can watch, observe, operate, if you can do that. And whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling peaceful, open, you can expand this space further by just making a choice that let me expand this space, like double up this energy, double up this space. And you, by just making that choice, creates that openness, that expansion, that witness consciousness. And can you truly listen from this space without losing your essence? So take a deep breath in and let it go. And it's all good, it's all okay. And whenever you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. But as you open your eyes, whatever you see, just see that all the things, living or non-living, they're reflecting back the same energy, that same space where you are. So welcome back. Thank you. Anybody would like to share anything? Your experience at work, didn't work, whatever it is.